Well, folks, it seems even retirement can't keep Donald Trump away from Twitter. Or at least, whatever that app he uses is called now. This time he set his sights on our neighbors to the north, meddling in the 2025 Canadian election like a raccoon in a maple syrup factory. You see, Trump took to his platform of choice, Truth Social, to urge Canadians to give the boot to the Liberal Party, led by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Now, why would a former US president care about a Canadian election, you ask? Well, according to Trump himself, he was just returning the favor. He claimed Trudeau had it out for him during his presidency. And what better way to get back at someone than to try and tank their re-election campaign, right? Never mind the fact that interfering in another country's election is about as welcome as a skunk at a picnic. Trump's meddling reached a fever pitch on Election Day. He blasted out a message on Truth Social practically begging Canadians to vote against the Liberals. It was like he thought he was still running for office, but this time, the office was Prime Minister of Canada. Imagine the audacity. But here's the thing, folks. Canadians don't always take too kindly to Americans telling them what to do. Maybe it's the whole living next to a superpower thing that makes them value their independence. Whatever the reason, Trump's meddling seemed to backfire spectacularly. Now let's rewind a bit. Going into the election, things were looking pretty good for the Conservative Party of Canada. They were polling miles ahead of the Liberals, with some polls giving them a lead of over 20 points. It seemed like a sure thing. A Conservative landslide waiting to happen. Canadians were practically measuring the drapes for Pierre Poilievre's new office in Ottawa. But then, Trump decided to stick his nose in. And wouldn't you know it, the Conservative lead started to shrink faster than a polar bear in a heat wave. It was like someone had popped their inflatable moose and the air was slowly hissing out. Some analysts believe that Trump's unpopularity in Canada actually ended up hurting the Conservatives. It's like trying to win a popularity contest by hanging out with the kid who eats glue in the back of the class. Of course, it's hard to say for sure whether Trump's meddling was the sole reason for the Conservatives' decline. But it certainly didn't help. It's possible that some Canadians who were on the fence about who to vote for were turned off by Trump's blatant interference. They might have thought, hey, if Trump wants the Conservatives to win, maybe I should rethink my vote. Whatever the reason, the Conservatives went from looking like shoo-ins to barely clinging to hope. It was a political nosedive of epic proportions, and it left many wondering if they could recover in time for the next election. Now let's talk about Justin Trudeau, shall we? The man's hair alone could launch 1,000 think pieces. But beyond the flowing locks and charming demeanor lies a leader who's made some bold economic moves during his time in office. And like a plate of poutine after midnight, those moves have left some folks feeling a little queasy. Trudeau's 9 years as Prime Minister haven't been without their share of economic ups and downs. He's known for his government's increased spending, which, depending on who you ask, is either the best thing since sliced bread, or the reason your taxes are higher than a giraffe's kneecaps. The goal, of course, was to stimulate the economy and help those in need. But critics argue that it's led to slower business growth compared to our friends south of the border. And then there's the housing situation, which is about as comfortable as a beaver in a bathtub. Trudeau's government increased immigration targets, which is great for diversity and all, but it also put a strain on the already tight housing market. Think of it like trying to fit a family of moose into a one-bedroom igloo. The result? Skyrocketing home prices and rents that would make even a lumberjack blush. Now, I'm not saying Trudeau's economic policies are the only reason for these challenges. The global economy is a fickle beast after all. But there's no denying that his decisions have had a real impact on Canadians' wallets and their ability to afford a roof over their heads. So, what does this all mean? Well, for one thing, it shows that Canadians are a resilient bunch. They don't scare easily, not even when a former US president comes knocking with his opinions. They're like the Mounties of the political world, always there to uphold the law of the land, even when it means telling Uncle Sam to mind his own business. Despite Trump's meddling and the Conservative Party's best efforts, the Liberals managed to hold on to power. It's a testament to the enduring appeal of Trudeau's brand of liberalism, which emphasizes inclusivity, social justice, and, of course, a healthy dose of maple syrup. But it also shows that Canadian politics, much like a good game of hockey, can be unpredictable and full of surprises. Just when you think you know who's going to win, the underdog comes back with a vengeance. And in this case, the underdog was the very idea of Canadian sovereignty. So the next time you hear someone say that Canadian politics are boring, just remember the 2025 election. It was a wild ride, full of twists and turns, and it proved that even in the Great White North, things can get pretty heated. And who knows? Maybe next time, Trump will think twice before trying to tell Canadians how to vote. Then again, maybe not. He does have a knack for making headlines, even if it means getting a little too involved in his neighbors' affairs.